Sound of a distant, faint siren then fades to silence. A soft, melancholic hum begins to play, very subtly in the background. Imagine for a moment the quiet hum of a suburban night, the kind of stillness that amplifies every creak of the floorboards, every whispered thought. We often talk about the origins of heroes and villains, the pivotal moments that shape their destiny. But sometimes, the most profound transformations don't stem from cosmic accidents or superpowered bites. Sometimes, they begin in the deepest, most agonizing corners of the human heart, forged in the fires of unimaginable guilt. Tonight, we delve into such a story, not the one you think you know, but the hidden truth behind the monstrous, yet often noble, figure of Venom. We're talking about Eddie Brock, long before the symbiote, long before Spider-Man. We're talking about a young man, barely out of childhood, standing on the precipice of a secret that would define his entire existence. Picture him, a young Eddie Brock, restless, rebellious, suffocating under the weight of his father's exacting expectations and his own burgeoning self-loathing. It was a night much like any other, or so it seemed. The house was silent, his parents, Carl and Joan, long asleep. But for Eddie, sleep was an escape he couldn't afford. He needed to escape the house itself, the stifling silence, the judgment he felt even in the dark. He needed to get out, to find a moment of reckless abandon, to get drunk, perhaps, and forget himself for a while. He crept down the stairs, each step a testament to his desperation for freedom. The front door was a silent promise. But as he pushed it open, just a crack, the world outside was not as empty as he'd hoped. A shadow moved, a small, curious figure. It was the neighbor's son, perhaps awakened by a bad dream or simply drawn by the lure of the moonlit yard. Innocent, trusting. In that fleeting, dark moment, Eddie, already disoriented by his inner turmoil and his frantic need to escape, made a terrible, fatal misstep. Perhaps he tripped, perhaps he reacted too quickly, too roughly, in the sudden shock of encountering someone. The precise details are blurred by time and trauma, but the horrifying outcome is searingly clear. In his panic, in that moment of profound self-loathing that made him clumsy and reckless, he accidentally struck the young boy. A blow, a push, a fall. A sickening thud that echoed not just through the silent night, but through the very core of Eddie's being. The child lay still, gone, just like that. The world shattered. Panic, cold and absolute, seized him. What followed was a blur of terror, of a small, still form on the cold ground, and then the brutal reality of what he had done. He was just a boy himself, but he had taken a life. The next moments were a nightmare. His father, Carl Brock, a man obsessed with reputation, with appearances, with the family name, was a force of nature when he discovered the horrifying truth. There was no comfort, no shared grief, no offer of help. Instead, there was a violent, savage beating, not just of the body, but of the spirit. Carl's rage was an inferno, fueled not by sorrow for the lost child, but by the catastrophic threat to his carefully constructed life, to the family's social standing. He would not allow this to tarnish their name. "You tell no one." Carl's voice, a low, dangerous growl, must have echoed in Eddie's ears for years. And so the cover-up began. A fabricated story, a terrified son forced to plead not guilty, to live a lie. The incident was quietly buried, attributed to an accident, a tragic fall, anything but the truth of Eddie's involvement. His father's influence, his wealth, his ruthlessness ensured the facade held. But beneath that veneer of normalcy, Eddie was entombed in a silent, suffocating hell. He carried the secret, the terrible weight of that night, in every breath he took. He watched the grieving parents, their sorrow a constant, silent accusation, a relentless torment. This, then, is the true genesis of Eddie Brock's lifelong guilt. This isn't just about a broken marriage or a failed career. This is the primal wound. This is why he carries himself with an air of perpetual self-loathing, why he feels like an inherent failure, a person who doesn't deserve happiness or success. The accident, the cover-up, the brutal paternal betrayal, these formed the bedrock of his psychological makeup. His obsessive need to protect the innocent, his fierce, almost pathological drive to right wrongs, to be a lethal protector, isn't just a byproduct of the symbiote's influence or a misguided rivalry with Spider-Man. It is, in its deepest sense, a desperate, lifelong penance to atone for the life he inadvertently took, to protect those he failed to protect as a vulnerable, panicked boy. Venom, the terrifying, powerful entity, became more than just an alien suit. It became the physical manifestation of Eddie's trauma, his rage, his profound self-disgust, and his desperate need for redemption. The lethal protector persona wasn't random. It was, in its deepest sense, a subconscious effort to atone for the life he inadvertently took, to protect those he failed to protect as a vulnerable, panicked boy. Every punch thrown, every villain apprehended, every innocent saved, is for Eddie a silent plea for forgiveness, a heavy step on a never-ending path of atonement for that one tragic mistake. The story of Venom is not just a tale of symbiotic rage and rivalry. It is a profound exploration of guilt, of the burdens we carry, and how the darkest secrets of our youth unknowingly, inexorably shape the monsters and the heroes we become. The subtle melancholic hum slowly fades out. We invite you to ponder this hidden layer of Venom's story. How do you think such a profound childhood trauma might manifest in a character? Do you believe Eddie's path is truly one of redemption, or merely a continuation of his penance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more deep dives into the hidden layers of the stories we love. Until next time, keep exploring the depths of character.